Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host Evan Teague. With me, like always, is Noah Bailey. Now, I was really hoping we wouldn't have to do this for the second podcast in a row, but unfortunately, Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob, passed away at 57. Just okay, Stanley's death was very sad, and because he lived a full, wonderful, inspirational life.
95 years, yeah.
95. And like I said, it was very sad, but he was getting up there. It was just kind of inevitable he was gonna die eventually, and so it was sad, but it was understandable. Steven Hillenburg was only 57. I think he had recently
Not old at all.
I think he had recently started writing new SpongeBob episodes, and at least it was connected to the show again, and he got diagnosed with ALS back in 2017, and just
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
uh,
mean,
and if you didn't know, SpongeBob is our, what was it, number two for both of us,
yeah,
favorite show. Yeah, and just
it's, it's iconic. SpongeBob. I mean, it's SpongeBob for this whole generation. Like
mhm.
for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be making SpongeBob jokes and references, and only old people who are our age are gonna get it when we're like 50. And
Mhm.
it's just, I mean, it's a part of it. That's one of those things I'm always gonna talk about. It's
Yeah,
just part of our life at this point.
yeah. So thank you, Stephen Hillenburg, for just being the inspiration you were. Just the majority of the humor that me and my brother have are based heavily on SpongeBob, and just yeah, so even when even after all these years, just I can go back and just watch season two and three of SpongeBob, and just no matter how I'm feeling, it'll just make me feel insanely happy. So
Oh my God, yeah.
yeah.
Just any bad day can be fixed by just watch some SpongeBob and just
Mm, Band
just
Geeks,
and it
Graveyard
never
Shift, camping episode, you just keep going.
you name it,
Yeah.
it never gets old either.
Mm,
It's so much of a classic.
yeah. Hopefully 2018 is done. Just please, no one else important. Please. We've had enough.
In my ear. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Let's let's move on. Let's move on to something a little more upbeat. Um, with that Once Upon a Deadpool trailer.
No, don't freak out. I'm putting ice in the toilet.
Now we've been reporting that a PG-13 edit of Deadpool 2 was coming this winter, and that trailer, I watched it a week or two ago. I don't remember exactly what they showed from the movie itself. I do remember the all the Fred Savage stuff though, which just
Mhm.
that's about as good as I could expect it to be. It's was Fred Savage still in the pajamas
As
from?
far as I can tell, he was still in the job. He still had it was the old. He was wearing, I believe, it was a Walter Payton jersey in the Princess Bride.
Okay,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and he's still wearing a jersey. So I think he's it's like an old Bears jersey.
nice.
I just thought that was the funniest thing. I was like, oh my god, they're doing this. I'm like,
Mm.
they tied him up. Oh,
I think it would be really funny if, at some point, preferably really early in the movie, Fred Savage is the one to say the one F word they can use, and Deadpool gets really mad at him for it.
it's like, wait, no, you wasted. What are you?
We only get.
Ah,
No,
you mother. Ah,
I can't. No, I gotta bleep
you
everything.
everything. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I
Oh my
I
goodness.
am I'm pretty excited for that movie.
Dude, that's gonna be so good. In a way, restricting it's gonna make it so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just because just how Deadpool works, his idea of knowing that he's restricted is gonna be
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah, and they're shooting new scenes that they easily could kind of insert shots of him looking at the
Mhm.
camera and being like, "We can't show that on TV," or or like commenting on the fact that it's not even like commenting on the fact that he's in a storybook being read by Deadpool could be funny. There are many ways they can go with this with like the limited amount of reshoots they did. I think it's gonna be
That's one of the
pretty good.
Yeah, and like really like the option. There's so much they can do. Like the possibilities are really endless. Because I mean, just how the character's written and how it works. Like you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah,
it's great.
Mm.
It's gonna be so good.
So you were not a fan of Venom, correct?
Not really. 5 out of 10 was my initial consensus. So I kind of stick by that.
I know we said a few weeks ago that opening weekend it made like 160 million. It definitely like broke even. Well broke even domestically alone. I want you to guess how much money is made worldwide at this point.
300, maybe? I don't know. More, 4, 5, 7?
It's made 822 million and grossing and going.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
huge opening in China.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I did not think this
It's
was going to be
officially
that
the
successful.
14th most profitable superhero movie of all time.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
It's
It passed
literally-
Wonder Woman and Guardians, like both Guardians, like
It's because of the name brand. That's what it is.
because
everyone
Sony
loves
like
that character.
pushed this movie so freaking hard. Like you saw advertisements for it everywhere. Even after it come out, which is pretty rare for a movie that was this bad.
Yeah, and just like I don't know. They were really going for it because I mean, like they said, they were really trying to build up this Spider-Man universe
Yeah.
or whatever, and like I don't know. I guess you have to have a good starting if you're gonna try to make this work. 'Cause they were talking about other people's movies and then like make up like what 3 Venoms or something like
Yeah,
that.
Venom trilogy,
apparently.
Morbius, Sable and
Yeah.
Black, Craven the Hunter. Sure, why not?
Oh goodness. And like, yeah, I was trying. I'm impressed that it made nearly this much money. Like, honestly, I was expecting maybe to make half, if not less.
Yeah, I was expecting it to level out around 500 maybe, but nope.
And good for them. Good for them, because that's awesome. But at the same time, it's like, dang.
Here's the thing. One thing I've kind of noticed is that the people that were and are hyping this movie are the same people that liked Batman versus Superman. Which you can like that movie all you want. Like that's fine if you like the movie. The only problem is that is not a good movie. So it's just straight up that's not a good movie.
It's
And
pretty
I just find it funny that the same people who praise BVS are also the ones saying that Venom is good. When really, well, like the same people that said BVS is good also hate the MCU, yet for some reason they like Venom. It's just a weird mashup of. I don't exactly know what these people like, what their tastes are when they seem to be diehard DC fanboys, hate everything in the MCU, yet for some reason just fell in love with Venom. Is it because of Tom Hardy? Like I don't know.
I think it's more of just like they dislike the MCU, not because the MCU did anything or like they just don't like Marvel. I think it's just because everyone compares the MCU and the DCU and just like
but yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, Marvel's amazing, and the DCU is not so amazing. And that's what they get mad about.
They're disliking the MCU and liking Venom because they're hipsters. I guess maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I don't even know. Like it's like people get people just go against things that they don't like, especially with like the entertainment community. It's like, oh, I don't like this. Let's bash everything that's not. If people don't agree with me, then everything else is wrong and stuff. That's starting to become the society we live in. So like, and it's just like that's how people feel about the movies. Because obviously, like the MCU is not a bad like even if you don't think it's amazing, you can't be like, oh, it's awful. Like, come on, it's not.
They've made like 3, maybe 4 arguably bad movies, and they've had 20 movies so far. So
that's what I'm saying. Like they're going great. All their especially now, like all their movies have been great.
Everything after Thor: The Dark World has been spot on.
Right?
After
And like,
the two Ant-Mans were kind of like dips, but they weren't bad. And
right,
even
that's what
then, they
like none
weren't.
of them have been bad. They've either been good or just insanely good. Like there's
Yeah.
never been like anything bad since then.
Mhm.
And like, and again, like the people that like you can't genuinely be like, oh, all these movies are bad. They're just not. Like that's just not right.
Mhm.
It's like saying that's like, if you don't like if you don't like LeBron James, you're like, oh, LeBron James is a bad basketball player. Like,
No.
dude, LeBron James is not a bad basketball player. He just that's physically
Yeah.
impossible.
You can not like him as a player or even as a person for some reason, but like you can't say he's bad at what he
Right,
does.
with all the success he's had, or with all the success his movies have
Yeah.
had, you can't say they're bad. It's just not how it works. But
Yeah. However, that
but
being said, just because Venom made $822 million does not mean it's good.
that is also true. That is also true. But I don't know. Again,
Minions
I
made
feel
over a
like
billion, so
this is true.
who's really to
Put that
judge
perspective.
what's good anymore?
But again, the name brand. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The name of the movie, because everyone from the Despicable Me series, everyone loves the Minions because they're not used as much, but when they are, they steal the show. But when you make the whole movie about the Minions,
Mhm.
then it gets old within
So,
the first 10 minutes.
yeah.
And like with Venom, everyone loves Venom. Like everyone loves Venom's one of the probably the outside of obviously Spider-Man and
Mhm.
Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery. Venom's the most loved character. I
Yeah.
would say that's a pretty fair statement. So like, and everyone likes Venom. So like, of course, when Venom gets his own movie, everyone's gonna lose their mind. Especially
Hmm.
since the only other movie Venom we've had was in Spider-Man 3 for 15 minutes, which wasn't even that good.
Yeah. That doesn't count.
And
That wasn't Venom. That was
yeah,
Tape.
yeah, exactly. So other than that, like, what other Venom do we have on screen? Granted, this isn't really comic book Venom by any means because there is no Spider-Man, but still, like people are like, oh, Venom's in a movie. I need to go see this. And like, yes, it made a lot of money because a lot of people wanted to see it and they want to see Venom. But I feel like the next couple of movies, there's gonna be a solid drop off just because.
Yeah.
Okay, now the name brand kind of feelings kind of worn off. Now I want actually a great
Mm.
story and all this stuff, and then the movies are gonna fall flat,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Like I have a feeling Justice League, it would have done better. It had the whole Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon controversy, whatever. Had that not happened,
Hmm.
it's unfortunate that what happened to Zack Snyder that made him leave. But like, if that hadn't happened, I still feel that because of BVS and Suicide Squad and everything else surrounding this universe, I still kind of feel there definitely would have been a dip from BVS to Justice League. Wonder Woman was a little buffer, but I don't know if that would have saved it. To I don't know if that really would have made Justice League do like even 800 million. I don't know, but whatever.
Maybe, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just
I don't know.
annoying
It's
because
one
now
of
that Venom has crossed over 800 million, that probably means he's not going to be in the MCU anytime soon unless Disney straight up buys him.
yeah, but I mean, the thing is, Disney doesn't need to make that purchase. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like they could, but Spider-Man's got enough of a rogues gallery, and Spider-Man in this universe is, just a piece of it, at
Mhm.
least for now. So like, he probably isn't going to be that important, despite Spider-Man being probably the most famous MCU character
Yeah.
in general.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
and I do appreciate how Sony has also already greenlit sequels to the Into the Spider Verse movie, like sequels and spin-offs. So that's great.
okay,
Apparently, they're gonna do like an all girls team of Into the Spider Verse characters, like Silk, Spider Gwen, and a couple other like female
okay,
characters from this movie have their own movie. So yeah, just I mean, I've always said I would love to just have an Into the Spider Verse, multiverse universe of its own, just kind of replace the Venom live action universe. But so if they want to kind of have that going alongside this Venom Spider-Man less Spider-Man universe, go I'm all for it. So as long as it's not one or the other, I'm fine with it.
yeah, we'll see,
Yeah.
man. But
I'm
yeah,
just really,
hopefully,
I really hope Into the Spider Verse does well because like Sony is pretty fickle. They could easily, if Into the Spider Verse doesn't do all that well, they could easily cancel these sequels. But
mhm.
I really hope it does well. It looks really good.
I think it will do well because everyone looks really excited about it. Miles Morales is definitely a fan
Hmm.
favorite in general, and since the movie's generally about him, like I think people are gonna go all for that.
Yeah.
And also, like, the only thing I'm not personally a fan of the animation because it kind of makes my eyes hurt a little bit, but other people have said they like it.
I
So,
love
mean,
the animation. It literally looks like a comic
exactly.
book come to life.
See,
It's probably one of the more creative animated movies I've seen in a long time. So
oh yeah, yeah, I haven't seen
I'm here
anything
for it.
like it. Yeah, and like, see, and that's fine. Like, each their own. But I think the majority of people
Mhm.
are a fan of it, so I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. A movie that I'm not as confident will be fine. Birds of Prey. So up until this point, we were just going off the assumption that the movie was going just to be called Birds of Prey. Here is the actual, real, official title of this movie. Every single word I'm about to tell you is 100% fact.
Oh
It's
no.
titled Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Why? All right. Well, okay. No, I know why. Harley Quinn is becoming, see, she is a great character. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but I feel like they're trying to make the character into something that originally was not. But I guess I don't know.
It kind of
And it,
feels like, by the way, the fact that they kind of just stuck that end of the title on there, it kind of feels like they realized like halfway through filming or like halfway through storyboarding, whatever, that Birds of Prey shouldn't have Harley Quinn in it. So they're like, so we'll call the movie Birds of Prey, but the title should also just kind of mention that Harley Quinn's just also kind of here.
like,
So
also Harley Quinn.
like the idea
I saw
of
a
the
lot of
Birds of
horrible.
Prey potentially helping Harley Quinn like break away from the Joker is a decent idea. The only problem is the way this Joker and Harley Quinn are set up when they legitimately love each other. That just doesn't seem to really work. But I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, the director knows what she's doing. Hopefully, it'll be a good movie. Like, hopefully, they'll incorporate the Birds of Prey really well. Hopefully, Harley Quinn's inclusion won't like ruin anything about it being a Birds of Prey movie. Just I
Hmm.
I'm not like I am I'm not optimistic about this movie, but I don't necessarily have any reason to be like super down on it outside of it being connected to this universe. I'm just kind of waiting for the trailer, and if it's good, I might. I don't know. I have no idea what to think of this movie right now.
I'll admit I don't like that title at all. It sounds very cringy,
It
but
sounds. I mean, it's very Harley Quinny to have a title like that with the word "fantabulous" in it, but like,
mm,
I, have your own movie. If like, just have a movie called "The Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn." I would watch that. I would watch a movie just called that. But if that's like the tagline subtitle thing to Birds of Prey, it just doesn't have the same impact to
same
me.
weight to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I guess we'll find out at some point. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm still definitely kind of in the more leaning towards the not so into it than the into it corner at the moment. But I mean,
Mhm.
as time goes on and we start seeing stuff, maybe I'll start moving more, at least in the middle. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm just kind
Apparently, it's supposed to come out like
of
February 7th of 2020. So you got
okay.
at least half a year before a trailer comes out. But we'll keep an eye on it. So there'll be more information coming out here and there. So we'll see. Now, let's see what Disney is up to now. So, first off, Disney is dropping a little Christmas present because Infinity War is coming out on Netflix on December 25th. So,
Woo!
yeah, that's a. If you want to watch it for like the fifth time, I mean, it's there for you.
Technically, I think I've only seen it twice actually.
Oh, okay.
To be
I think
fair,
I've seen it three
because
times.
after
Yeah, go on.
After the first time, I couldn't bring myself to go see it for a while. Like I'm pretty sure I saw it opening night, and I didn't see it again until like August.
Uh,
So I was just like, I need a minute, guys. Like we're gonna go see it again, like literally 2 days after. I was like, dude,
like it's
no.
not that kind of movie. Like The Last Jedi, that's definitely a movie that warrants a second watch. But just there was something just heavy about. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, but like just it just felt. Yeah, I can definitely see not wanting to
yeah,
rush into a second viewing of that
and
movie.
yeah, cause like, and the thing, like, cause it was crazy because going into the final part, I was like, I'm gonna want to watch this movie so many times because
Yeah,
there's so many epic
if
moments
not
in this,
just for that Thor's re-entrance, like
right?
yeah,
Just like the way, like getting there and all the stuff and all like the really unique battles with the different characters we've never seen together,
mm-hmm.
and like especially like the Guardians and Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, like that
Yeah,
team up was really good. I think that was really good, and like
mm-hmm.
stuff like that, I really wanted to see. Yeah, and then it was like, all right, yeah, this is great, this is great. And then the end goes, and I'm just like,
Oh, then the after credit scene, and then Thanos will return. It's
and
like, oh come
uh,
on.
oh, and like the music, how they do it, and they have the little things, the little
The
titles.
Avengers logo turning into dust.
I was like, you
Why?
monsters.
Why?
I'm like imagining like what the like first reactions of the people over there
Uh,
were just like, dude, this is gonna kill everybody. The fans are gonna lose it. Like just imagine what like the first it's just like the beta testers or whatever, they're just like, dude, you guys are brutal. Change the music up on them
mm,
too.
mm,
Oh yes, but no, I'll definitely be watching it more now. It's on Netflix.
yeah, or at least like
Especially just
certain
like,
parts, at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, just part, yeah, just pop in the right parts and see people
Mm,
like, especially like the two parts I want to see a bunch of time are like every character's like first appearance
yep.
as the movie goes on, and then like the really good battles and stuff.
Hmm.
So like yeah, but
Yeah, like
that's
I
but
just
yeah.
kind of pop on Civil War every now and again and just watch that where the airport scene because like
Oh my
I
gosh,
can't get enough. I can't get enough of that.
it's so good. It's like, they're not stopping. It's like that was honestly me. I was like, oh, okay. All right, guess we're doing this now. Oh man.
Where's that freaking
But,
Avengers 4 trailer? I need
oh,
it.
dude, seriously. I was so surprised because everything was saying, "Oh, Black
Yeah,
Friday is gonna drop," and I was like, "Okay." And then
yeah. I was
I wake up on
fully
Saturday.
expecting coming, like
Oh
fully expecting
yeah,
to come to this podcast, ready to talk about that trailer, but
yeah.
where's it?
That's what I'm saying.
Kevin
And
Feige,
like,
where's it?
oh my gosh. They know. They're just like, oh, it's like, I can't. And they're just like, no, 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 not yet, not yet, not yet. Just dangling the carrot just a
Yeah.
little further away. And the loyal fan base just follows like zombies. Because,
Mm.
oh my gosh. But anyway, just like, where do we go from here? That's why we need the trailers. What do we
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, I just want to know like what that trailer is gonna like. How that trailer gonna? What's the trailer gonna be about? Like, will it be about Thanos? Will it be about the Avengers? Like, I could easily see like the first Avengers 4 trailer just like being a huge troll and just kind of showing Thanos going about his normal every day after the snap and just kind of showing him on the farm just minding his business. Just that's your trailer, Avengers
I'd be
4. Like,
I'd be so mad about that. But like, what if there is no Avengers 4 trailer? What if it's just called Avengers 4? Or like Avengers on title? What if that's just there's no
Avengers
title? It's
Untitled
just,
Avengers movie.
yeah, it's just called Avengers 4. Like that's it. There's no actual title, and everyone's like, what?
Or like it's called like
No.
Ave, or like the rest of it is dust.
Oh my god, no, that would be awful. Dude, no, I need to see this movie.
Speaking of Disney
But
trailers, there were two live action Disney remake trailers that came out over the past week. I'm gonna start with the one I'm least excited about. That Dumbo trailer.
yeah,
So I'm sure I've seen the original Dumbo all the way through at least once. I've seen like every part of it at least once. And like
Mm-hmm.
it's a fine movie. It's not, my favorite or anything, but it's it's a
Mm-hmm.
fine piece of work. This trailer for the live action Dumbo movie was bafflingly bad. It was like there were so many parts where like I just my mouth was just open. I'm like, why did that just happen? Does Dumbo does Dumbo speak in this movie? Is like why are these kids here? Who is my um Michael Michael Keaton's in this movie? Why like what like there's just so many like pieces that don't really involve Dumbo, and like
Right.
the circus is on fire, and like it's so intense, and Dumbo is just kind of there. Like there's no reason for any of this to be happening in a Dumbo movie when Dumbo doesn't even like do anything. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
it's like the circus kids and Dumbo, basically. You're just kind of like, I'm not really invested in these kids.
That's
Like,
not what
and
this
I
movie
get it.
needed.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not like, oh, like you said, Dumbo's never been really in my favorites by any means in terms of Disney movies. But at the same time, it's like, man, if I wasn't interested in Dumbo before, this trailer made me really not interested
And
in
like this is
Dumbo.
Tim Burton's Dumbo. Granted, I didn't I
Right?
didn't like at all his Alice in Wonderland movies, but like they still had that like staple Tim Burton esque ness to it, where it was just weird, bizarre. They were kind of bizarre and weird in the wrong ways some of the time, but like they still felt very Tim Burton-y. Whereas this, like, there's nothing shown in the trailer that really showed this was a Tim Burton movie, unless they're saving that for later, which like I feel with the reveal trailer you would want to. I don't. I feel like a Tim Burton's Dumbo could have been interesting. Like imagine the pink elephant scene, like that pink elephant
Mhm.
song. What Tim Burton has. That would I think if that
No,
doesn't happen in this movie, like why even get him to do it?
because the name. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just they they this movie got me. This trailer got me even less hyped than I already was for a Dumbo live
Mhm.
action movie, and it wasn't even really on my radar. I forgot it was even happening until the trailer came out. So that's bad for you to go from you forgetting it exists to not wanting it to exist.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh no, like, cause I don't know. It just seemed. I was just very uninterested the
Mm,
entire trailer. Like nothing about it really made me either care or think, oh, this is cool, or oh, I like what they did with
mm,
this or that. I just kind of, I don't know. It seemed like every other like animal movie that I've
yeah,
ever seen
especially
with
since
little
Dumbo
kids.
doesn't talk. It's not from his perspective,
Yeah,
so why should we care?
yeah, yeah. I don't, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm not looking forward to it at the moment. I'm just
Yeah,
kind of
no,
like, oh, all right, Dumbo trailer. And I
yeah,
mean, I get it. They're remaking movies. That's fine. But I mean,
yeah. I mean, I appreciate them not remaking a movie that's, from 20, 30 years ago, having going more from their backlog.
hmm
But if you're going to do that, so okay, so we have a problem with stuff like Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast where it's just the same but worse. I feel
hmm
like this is more the extreme where they're trying to make it so different where it's like its own thing, but they don't really understand why people liked the first one. They liked it because Dumbo is an actual character, where from everything we can see here, he doesn't even do anything. So
splash
I
some ears.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a middle ground you can go, and it's just isn't it. But
No, I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't seem to grab to grab you in the ways you would want it to. You know, you want it to
Mm-hmm.
be this like, oh, heartwarming story about Dumbo, but it's gonna be like, I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like it's gonna be a really like, if you're not like four, you're not really gonna be a fan of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm all
And
for
like,
anything with Michael Keaton in it, but I just don't want him to
he's
be
Batman,
misused in a movie like this. But I don't know. We'll see.
or will we?
No, no, not unless it maybe if it comes to Netflix. It's hard, maybe. Something.
I'm not going.
The other trailer I have extremely mixed feelings about, and that's the Lion King trailer. As you know, Lion King is my
Really?
favorite Disney movie, tied for my favorite movie of all time. And I think I've said in this podcast before, I would only be excited for this movie if essentially the trailer was just a live action, heavy quotations, version of the Circle of Life sequence from the original. And like it was almost that. A lot of the same visuals was there. You still had
Hmm.
the song still played, like the exact same song. Wasn't even like a re-edition. Wasn't like a
Like redone
wasn't
or
redone.
reimagined or whatever.
Yeah, it was just the same song, which like I'm all for. That's a good song. Just keep it. And they still had James Earl Jones, who sounds way older now. I get that it's 25 years later, but still, he sounds way
Well, he
older.
is. Well, he is.
I
Like,
know. It's just a little. It is like a little jarring just to hear, like it still is Mufasa, but it sounds different enough that it's a little jarring. But I've watched this movie like 60 times. I'm not even joking. So
yeah.
like the fact that like I know what Mufasa and Darth Vader sound like, the fact that he
Right.
sounds so much older. That was also not an issue, but it's something I also kind of noticed during Rogue One. Like Darth
Yeah.
Vader also sounded a little off. Oh, again, just because he's
Yeah. And
older,
like,
and that's just how it works. But still,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's life. You know, you can't be
yeah.
perfect.
And I I'm definitely intrigued about this Lion King live action version. I'm just really, really, really annoyed at all the people who insist on calling it a live action remake when it's not live action. That's the thing that irks me the most about this. At least the lions look good. Like everything looks
It does
like
look good,
Rafiki. Like
but
I don't necessarily like that monkey's design, but it still looks good. Like the CG itself looks good. All the lions look
mhm.
good. Like technically speaking, this trailer made the movie actually look pretty good.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'm excited to see this. I just don't know if I'm here for this remake of my favorite movie of all time. Like,
Well,
what are your
what
general
are
thoughts?
what are you? Well, okay. Well, what are you mainly concerned about? Like,
I don't I don't know. Like, well, also they also removed "Be Prepared" from the movie as a whole, which I'm not at all
yeah,
excited about because
I'm
that's
not a fan of that either. That's one of the
that's like
best
the villain
songs,
song. Like, come on, you don't get rid of the villain song. But
right?
um, and like the cast is also high quality. You got Seth Rogen, Billy
Hmm.
Eichner, John Oliver playing like Zazu. Yeah, Donald Glover, Beyonce. Like all of these,
Hmm.
you know,
No
superstars.
expense to spare.
I just, I guess I'm just so protective of my nostalgic feeling for this movie that like this trailer didn't look bad, but it also didn't sell me on the fact that it didn't sell me on why this movie needed to be made outside of just money.
Well, I mean, they're remakes. Like,
I know, and it's going to make over $1 billion because Beauty and the Beast did, but like,
oh
I
yeah,
want,
no.
I want for all of these, live action remakes. I want there to at least feel like there's some passion behind it. In this trailer, it showed me visuals that are good. It showed me, the understanding of why the original movie was good. They showed the most of the Circle of Life sequence. I just don't really feel like this trailer adequately showed me that there was anyone who made this movie that was really passionate about making it outside of this will make a lot of money. They just showed all of the right things. They just showed it. It looks good enough, but not like fantastic. I don't, I don't know. I'm really conflicted. I don't
I
know.
feel like you just like it too much for your own good. Like you
That's
can't.
that's definitely
That's what I'm saying. Like
it.
you've made a rubric that's like unless it's just the greatest thing ever created ever, it's not good enough. And I'm just like, dude,
You're right.
because like from my standpoint, it looks great. Like I think it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I like you said, the cast is out of the park. Like this thing is gonna be
Mhm.
awesome, because they got the voice. Like they brought back James Earl Jones for the voices that needs to be the same, but then the other ones, like. I mean, they really got the best people because I mean, like you got McDonald Glover, you got Beyonce, like
Yeah.
you got a lot of great people going into this. The CG looks really good. Like, and the whole live action thing does get on my nerves because no one's gonna be, live
There's
action. You
no
can't get real
people
animals.
live action. There's nothing live that is doing the action. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not live action. They're all they're all CG, but whatever.
Yes, but it sounds great, good apparently. So they're rolling with it. But yeah, but the CG looks really good in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be awesome. Like I'm excited for it.
So another one little hang up that I legitimately have is that one thing that CG just can't really capture the same way hand-drawn animation can is the spectacle of a musical number. Like I think if they show a trailer and it has like a segment from Can't Wait to Be King and it looks as good or the perspectives are the same, the colors are are as good as the original. And like there's just something about the way you can like stretch characters, just the way you can suspend your disbelief a little more during animated like 2D animated movies and shows and whatnot. There's just you can't really capture the same way with CG. Once if they show a trailer and like people are actually like singing and dancing and whatnot and it actually looks good in CG, I think that'll be the thing that'll really sell me. But I think that's the thing I'm most skeptical about. So
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and then as we get closer to the release, you'll probably see like little pieces of that put together, and then
yeah,
maybe we could form more
I
of
could
an
eas- I
opinion on
could
that.
easily see Disney like releasing a trailer solely just dedicated to one song. To be like, here's
Yeah,
a part of the movie, boom, like they did with
like
the
love it.
original
Here you
movie. The
go.
Circle of Life was the only trailer released for the original movie, and that sold people. So they could easily
Yeah.
do that.
It worked out pretty well for them back then, so
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right. I think I'll be okay. But,
Yeah. So
but I mean, it looks good, and regardless, it's gonna do
yeah.
amazing, like
Mm.
financially. So
Yeah, like especially if there's nothing coming out around then. I know Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out I think a few weeks before that. So if there's like nothing out early August or whatever, I might, you know, I'll heavily consider seeing it. But especially like I said, especially if they do show us some musical number that actually looks good. So we'll see. Now, in other nerd news, you mind if I just gush about Pokemon for a little while?
the floor is yours.
um, so over the break, me and my brother both got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Okay.
A game that we've talked about a couple times on this podcast, and I wasn't like super excited. The idea didn't really grab me. The fact that it was a Pokemon Yellow remake, but not really in the way I've always wanted. Like Pokemon Yellow being remade in HD and 3D was like one of the things, like one of like top 3 games I wanted on the Switch. And just
Mhm.
the way they presented it, especially in that rumor we had back in March before it was actually officially announced, that just wasn't really what I want. Maybe it was May, but whatever. That wasn't really what I wanted from this, but it's good. It is very good.
That's what I've heard. Like
Yeah.
everyone I've talked to says it's really something
Yeah.
else. Like it's
And like
everything you wanted.
I just from the very opening of this game. You've played Pokemon Red or Blue, right?
Oh yeah, I
Okay,
literally just beat it over Christmas to be blue,
nice.
or
Over
not Christmas, but
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so the region will be fresh in your mind. From the very opening, the the opening cutscene is essentially like you're in like a live action living room, and like an Eevee pops up on the TV that's playing, and you get like sucked into the TV. Like Eevee like pops
Whoa.
out of the Eevee like pops out like jumping around and like you go into the TV, and that actually I love that so much because that actually gives you context to you forgetting your rival's name, the professor not knowing your name. Like you've apparently been here all your life, yet you don't know anything. So it actually builds context for
Makes
people
sense.
explaining everything to you because your character hasn't been here. That's something that's always kind of bugged me about Pokemon games, where like, especially if you're a veteran player, like
Hmm.
you know all this stuff. But like your character might not, but he's lived in a world with Pokemon around forever, so like he should know this stuff. But here, your character is you just in this world, just for the first time, so it adds context. So I really like that. And also your rival being a little nicer, also just kind of adds context and like you like theoretically were his friend this whole time in this game when like you don't
Right.
actually know him. But just also your rival, like one thing that really bugged me was that they always referred to him as your friendly rival, and like yes, it is a little annoying how like he's not as annoying and like as just and like as good of a rival as Gary is, but like annoying in the right ways. But he's still a decent rival. He's still that person to like push you through the game. He actually helps you in double battles every now and again. So like it works well enough. Like he definitely could have been better if they had a more of a Gary type. Although actually it's okay because Gary actually shows up, or Blue actually shows up in this game a couple times throughout the story. Um, like you first see him in Viridian City, um, and essentially this game takes place a year or two after Red and Blue have already finished their journey.
Okay.
So like throughout every now and again, like you just kind of see Gary. I'm gonna call him Gary. Just kind of in the world around you. Like he knows he's already a powerful trainer. He knows his way around here, so it just kind of makes sense. Um, but apparently in their timeline, the Team Rocket stuff hadn't happened yet, and
Hmm.
the probably the thing that kind of weirded me out the most from the announcement of this game was the fact that the catching mechanic would be very Pokemon Go esque, where like you have to wait for the
Right.
circle to come and like catch it, and you couldn't actually battle the Pokemon. Catching Pokemon is really fun. Like
Hmm.
they, oh, I haven't actually tried it in on the TV yet. I've just done it in handheld mode, but essentially, on the Switch handheld mode, like just gonna switch. Um, you like you the Pokemon is on screen, and you kind
Right.
of use the gyro to aim, and then press A to throw the Pokeball. And I, I'm sure if I did play like with the actual like actually like catching it with the Joy-Con, maybe it'll be a little more janky, or maybe it'll be not as fun. But as far as just like pointing and clicking, it's actually pretty fun. And also they encourage you to
Hmm.
catch multiple Pokemon because a actually catching stuff nets you more experience than battling, which is a little annoying because battling is like nerfed and it's intensely like I'm late in the game at
Right.
this point, and beating like level 45s only nets you like 700 experience, which like that's just not a lot.
Ooh.
Whereas catching stuff gets you like over 1,000 sometimes. So like, and also
Wait. So
if you catch multiple of one Pokemon in a row, for every for if you keep getting a streak, you get more experience for catching the same Pokemon over and over again. So That's nice.
So you could just farm the same area, catch the same Pokemon like a bunch of times, and it like adds up
Yeah,
the XP more.
yeah. And if you
Dude.
catch more and more of
Okay.
the same Pokemon, you have a higher chance of getting a shiny of that Pokemon. So yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Dang, all right. I
And
don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I have to see it, but
probably the thing that made me the most excited about just like seeing it, as a nice surprise was one of my main, really like one of my only major complaints about the red and blue is the fact that the gym leader teams suck. They are so uncreative. They are so repetitive. Like, I'm just gonna go through every single gym leader and like compare them to the Let's Go counterpart. Brock, Geodude, Onyx. You can't really change that since that's kind of the only two rock types, and like Rhyhorn is a bit too strong for that point. So they still kept that. I'm not a huge fan of them of them having you like making sure you have a water or grass type to enter his gym, or like they make sure you have a Pokemon at a certain level, or like you
hmm
have like in Sabrina's gym you have to have a Pokemon at level 45, but hers is only on 44. So just that does kind of feel handholdy, but like it's fine. My Pokemon were already like all pretty
right.
powerful money for a reason I'll get to later. Anyway, so Misty in Red and Blue had a Staryu and a Starmie. Super
hmm
boring. Here she has a Psyduck and a Starmie,
Ooh.
which actually makes sense given Misty from the anime had a Psyduck. Lieutenant Surge in Red and Blue had a Voltorb Pikachu Raichu. Now he has a Voltorb Magnemite Raichu.
Mm.
Erica, she originally actually hers didn't really change, but now she has a Tangela Weepinbell Vileplume. Who's next? Sabrina. Oh, her team was the worst in Gen 2. Or sorry, in Gen 1, in both Red and Blue and Yellow. In Red and
Uh,
Blue, she had a Kadabra, I believe a Mr. Mime, a
yeah,
Venomoth,
and
Alakazam.
yeah, like very basic psychic, just
Venomoth
like
isn't even a psychic type. Why? You have Hypno, Jinx, Slowbro. Like there are so many other psychic types you could use. Executor, Starmie. There are so many other psychic, and you pick Venomoth to be on her team. Are you freaking kidding me? And then in Yellow,
why?
she had Abracadabra, Alakazam. Again, super boring. Here she has a Jinx, Mr. Mime, Slowbro, Alakazam.
Oh,
That is a good team.
that's a solid psychic beam, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Koga, his teams also sucked. Coughing, coughing, muck, wheezing. In Yellow, Venonat, Venomoth. Those
Ugh.
are terrible. Here he has a muck, wheezing, Golbat, Venomoth. That is a very solid team. That is like the team I would want to give him. Blaine,
That's not.
Ponyta, Rapidash, Growlithe, Arcanine. So boring since you have so many fire types. But now he has a Magmar, Rapidash, Arcanine, Ninetales.
Okay. Ooh, Ninetales.
Yeah, yeah. And then Giovanni's the same across all games. So like, still with Rhyhorn has the strongest. But like, just the fact that they they still remade these games, but actually took the time to actually fix the things that were problems for me. Like that just makes these games so much better. They actually felt like passion and effort were put into these games that people just don't give them credit for.
hmm
And one thing that they did kind of mess up on is the fact that Red and Blue are kind of notorious for being able to sequence break hard. Like you can go straight from Misty, not battle Lieutenant Surge, not battle Erica, and go straight to Koga and just never battle any of those until like
Yeah.
after you beat Blade, you can go back. Actually, no, you can't battle Blaine. You couldn't battle Blaine in the original games because you needed to beat Koga in order to use Surf.
Right.
Um, well, in this game, the way it works is your partner Pokemon, either Pikachu or Eevee, essentially like has can use like special techniques that aren't moves, but they act like the HMs, like Surf, Strength, etc.
Really?
Yes, and they didn't consider the fact that before the gym leaders basically acted as gates for these, for using these moves. So they what they should have done was have the guy that teaches your starter, or like that allows your starter to use the surfing technique, only accessible after you beat Koga, preferably after you beat Koga and Sabrina. But they didn't do that. So I decided to just skip Sabrina, like everything in Saffron City, thinking it'll be there. It'll still be about the level like I would be at when I get there anyway. And decided to go straight down to Fuchsia City because I knew I wanted a Magmar and an Electabuzz this time around, and I knew I needed to surf to the power plant and down to Cinnabar Island to get those.
Mm.
So I go down to Fuchsia City, do everything there, get the. I don't battle Koga yet, but I do get the surfing technique. I go get my Electabuzz, and also the Pokemon, the trainers that are there on what used to be Cycling Road is now just like a path, which I appreciate. Those trainers are on like,
Really?
yeah, those trainers are now on like 36 and higher. Like the level like increased a lot higher than I thought it would, and actually was kind of difficult at that point. Which people are like, "Oh, this is
Mm.
baby's first Pokemon." It's like not really. It's actually like it's not hard. Like I never had any trouble with anything, but like
You're not
it
just running through everything anymore.
yeah, like since I did kind of sequence break, it was a little challenging. And then from since you're never supposed to do this first, I then after I got elected as I went from Pallet Town down to Cinnabar. Those trainers are on like
Ooh.
41, 42.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the Pokemon I was catching, they were netting some pretty high experience. So by the time I got back to Fuchsia, his strongest is on
Right.
44, my strongest is on 43. And after I beat Koga, I went back to Saffron, and like all the Team Rocket grunts are on like 35. I was 10 levels higher than all of them, at least
You're
10
just
levels higher.
like,
Like I didn't mean for this to happen. I didn't mean to make this game easier than it was. But like just because I knew this region like the back of my hand, I was just
right.
able to just do everything I needed to do, and the game just kind of didn't foresee someone doing that. So like it just kind of didn't. But
Yeah.
hey, I still had fun. Like I still had fun beating up Team Rocket. I still had fun taking down Giovanni and like all the other gym leaders like fairly easily. But like
Hmm.
even though it was kind of easy, even Victory Road wasn't that hard because I was kind of over leveled by accident. It was still a lot of fun, so I don't really mind.
Hmm. So have you finished it all?
I still have the Elite Four left. Elite Four, and
Okay.
that's it. And then there is
Yeah.
some
I will.
post game stuff with like
Yeah.
you can rebattle Red, you can rebattle every gym leader, you can catch Mewtwo, of course. So yeah, there's
Right.
still some stuff I can do.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if they'll like how well they'll like change up the Elite Four Pokemon because like set like the first two were okay. Like
Hmm.
the but the third one specifically, I don't know any of the names of the Elite Four. I just
So
know them in
Lorelei
order.
was an ice trainer. Bruno, he his thing was that he had two Onyxes. I really
Mm.
hope they change that and give him either a Primate or a Polyrath or both to get rid of those Onyxes.
Yeah, just get some variety in there.
Yeah, Agatha, she was technically a Ghost Elite Four, but there was only one Ghost line in Ghastly, so she had a
Mm.
Gengar, Haunter, Arbok, Golbat. So I understand why they didn't, they couldn't give her more than one Ghost type line, but like it was at that point why even have a Ghost Elite Four? But why not
Yeah.
just like switch Koga and her so that she can just be the Ghost Gym leader and you can just have a straight up Poison Elite Four? But whatever. The Lance had, I think, Dragonair, Aerodactyl,
Hmm.
Gyarados, Dragonair, Dragonite. Yeah. So two Dragonairs, Dragonite, and then two other non dragons.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they're kind of bland. I mean, they're okay, but like, I don't know. It was not. I don't know. I was kind of overpowered by the time I got there, but still, I was just kind of like, fine.
Mhm. Did you have like any of the legendary birds with you?
I may have had a couple. No, I had Zapdos and Moltres, but I didn't get what's the water one's name? I forget.
The ice one's Articuno.
Yeah, Articuno. I didn't pick Articuno because I already had I had a pretty strong Gyarados at that point, so
Hmm.
like I was like, yeah, I'll be fine.
Hmm.
So yeah, but it wasn't that hard at all. I just a couple of legendary moves and a few TMs added in. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, we're just gonna run through this real quick.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, no,
Yeah.
Fire Blast was very
Hmm.
satisfying. You just one shot everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. It's not very effective. Looks effective to me. Gone.
Did it one shot him? Yes. Oh well.
Yeah.
Okay, then go
It's
for
like,
it.
oh, all right. No, but I mean, no, they were like, cause like, yeah, cause they were level 50s when you first get them. So like, by the time I was done, I was like, they were pretty strong.
Mm. Yeah, I remember playing Leaf Green. Like Zapdos and Articuno can pretty much like switch out and beat pretty much everything.
Hmm.
Like they were super effective against pretty much everything outside of Agatha's team, and even then, like they could just kind of you can kind of just beat them just kind of punching through with Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Like, whichever you don't one shot, you can still go punch for punch with, so you're
mm-hmm.
fine.
Yeah. So yeah, like if you ever get a Switch or anyone out there who does have a Switch but you don't have Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee yet, and you're just pining for some more adventures in Kanto, it'll be a fun yet easy, jolly experience that I would highly recommend. So yeah,
All right, yeah, I'll have to look into it now. That sounds really good.
mm-hmm. At least watch a Let's Play or something. I think
Yeah,
you'll enjoy it.
absolutely.
Mm. Okay. Next up, we talked about this a little bit off air, but I want to at least bring it up again. The fact that Sony is skipping next year's E3. I guess they
Has any
lost
expert,
so bad last year that they just decided to just quit.
has there been any reports on that based on since the last time we talked about that, or anything at
they
all, other than Sony just not wanting to?
they their press release was like, we're looking into other ways of distributing information to our fans or something like that. They're not gonna
Mm.
have a presentation. They're not gonna have a press conference. They're not gonna even be like on the floor at E3. Like I, I don't know why, especially since there are quite a few games like Last of Us Two. Um, you know, I'm sure there are others that haven't come out yet, but like there's gonna be other games that like they would potentially announce that you would want to play, but you like play early, but they're just not going to be there in any form, and it's just really weird. It's the first time in the
Hmm.
24 years of E3 being a thing that they're just not there. It's weird, but
Yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah. I mean, they're saying like, oh, we'll try another way, and I guess they want their own individual, especially like you know how like with streaming services now, everyone's kind of doing their own thing instead of using shared platforms. I think
yeah,
now they're just gonna be like, let's find our own way to show our thing. We can have our own private show. You can't lose your own show, you know. So
yeah.
I think
I
that's what they're going
guess
for. But
maybe they'll have like a Nintendo Direct style, like 40-minute presentation, like around the time of E3, and maybe have their own booths up set up like kind of near the convention
mhm,
but not connected to E3.
yeah,
I don't know.
have
Especially if
E3
they
without
do,
having E3.
especially if next year is the year that they're going to show off the PS5, which very easily
Hmm.
could happen. I,
Yeah, I feel like that's part of this.
but like, why would you not want to be at E3 the year you show off a new console? That's just kind of weird.
I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe they feel like like maybe this whole like going into a new direction thing with like revealing their products and stuff, and like what better way to make sure everyone gets on board to the launch of this new system by showing off a new console. Like
Yeah,
it's like because like no one's gonna miss the PS5. Like, everyone's gonna want to see that no
yeah.
matter where it is.
And I guess it did work for Nintendo. They actually announced the Switch in October of 2016, and it's doing very well for itself. So
Mm,
it worked in the past. I guess they have no reason not to do something similar, but it's just weird, especially since they're not having their PlayStation experience this year and not E3 next year. Just that's an entire year of not
no, it's
presenting
nothing.
anything. It's just I don't know. We'll see. Last bit of news is that have you played any of the Devil May Cry games?
I haven't personally played them. My brother plays them though.
Mhm.
I watch mostly.
Okay. Okay. Are you aware of the Castlevania Netflix series?
I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, apparently it's really good. It's one I keep like meaning to watch. I just haven't like started it yet. Apparently, the same
Really?
guy who directed those Castlevania shows is also gonna be making a Devil May Cry Netflix show in the same
Okay.
universe, which is pretty
Oh,
exciting.
okay.
Yeah.
I can get. Okay, I like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
I like this. Okay.
Yeah. Like
Hmm,
I could
details.
easily see like after one season of the Devil May Cry series, like having like a kind of like a defender style thing, like both of them come together and
Mm,
like of course they fight. Simon Belmont and Dante like they fight in the first episode because they're both like essentially god slaying demon hunters. Like
yeah.
they're both very similar, and I mean obviously Simon Belmont's not quite as powerful as Dante, but I think he could still hold his own.
And like
Like
it would still be a good crossover fight, like
yeah,
just thing to have in general. Like I think
yeah.
fans would love that period.
Mm. And then some like demon from Devil May Cry like meets up with Death from Castlevania, and like they both have to team up and fight them like that. That could. And then if you want to add other random video game shows into this, I think they're calling it like the bootleg cinematic like or bootleg animated Netflix universe or whatever. I don't know why I call it bootleg
Hmm.
universe, but it is. They want to add however many video games they can into this. Go for it. Just
Just throw a bunch of games in there and see what happens.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, why not? I mean, because I mean, especially with like the whole video game movie curse, like I mean, maybe
Mm,
this is the way. Like, you know,
yeah.
like obviously some haven't worked out for like Netflix adaptations and stuff like that, but I mean, like, you know, maybe this is how.
Yeah. Like I don't really see a Devil May Cry or a Castlevania movie working because you just
Mm,
don't have the time to develop these characters in a movie. But TV show, I think you have just the right amount of time to really
right,
flesh out these characters and actually make them interesting. So
right.
yeah.
A set amount of episodes to like develop and go through plots and various story building instead
Mm,
of just, you know, 2 hours.
yeah. So yeah. Hopefully that's good. I still need to watch the Castlevania show. It's on my watch list, but yeah, I think they said that's coming next year at some point, which would be cool because Devil May Cry 5 is coming out next March, I think. So it's kind of within
Oh,
that
that'd be
same time frame.
perfect.
So that's nice.
Hmm.
Now, moving on to Nerd Clash. Now, since we just talked about the Devil May Cry Netflix series, I think it'll be interesting to pit Dante from Devil May Cry versus Kratos from God of War.
Ooh.
Now, these are both, you know, god level beings who have beaten up other
Yeah.
gods.
Yeah. Oh my god, wow. Uh,
Like they are both freaking insane when it comes to power.
like they're on the same tier. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Because like I mean they're literally god
yeah.
tier.
Kratos
So
has
like
scaled like huge like titans and like ripped their head off. And like Dante, there was one like huge demon that like came down for a punch, and Dante just stopped it just by doing this, which is
yeah,
insane when
which
he
is
did
like
it. So we have to
ridiculous.
take it as canon. Like I I don't know. Like
Oh my god,
Dante, I
like
mean
where do we
Dante, his weapon set is a little more. He is a little more varied than Kratos, although Kratos does have like quite a few
Yeah.
weapons at his disposal too, especially if we
Yeah.
consider the God of War 2018 with that axe and shield. Like, uh,
It's like there's no shortage of arsenal. There's no
yeah,
shortage of
yeah. There's like
abilities here.
chain
Like,
axe, like those chain swords, but Dante like has swords of his own. He has guns. He has like chain guns. Like he has all like he has many different weapons he could use.
it's
Uh,
like
I
maybe the
And also, like Kratos is just like a freaking rage monster, while Dante is just kind of loose and like
yeah.
super cocky and confident. Yeah, like it works to his favor. Uh,
I don't know, maybe like looking and there's like any fine print. Hold on. I don't know. I'm trying to think any like known weaknesses.
and like the only way Kratos has ever died is at the end of the end of God of War 3. He stabbed himself with the sword he used to kill Zeus.
Right.
So
But so I guess his weapon. I mean, I guess that. I mean, that kind of. I mean, that makes sense, but I feel like that's
well, but
kind
like
of
I don't
already
know if
used
Dante
that.
would have anything necessary, but I don't know if Kratos would necessarily have anything that could kill Dante
That's what I'm
either.
saying. Like, I mean, you could. The opposite is also true. Like, you could also do the same way against him. I was like,
Like especially
that's
since
not really an advantage.
Yeah, Dante does have like this like god slaying armor stuff that he wears sometimes, which is the one he like, which is the armor he was wearing when he stopped that demon's punch, just casually. Uh, then again, Kratos has defeated every single Greek god there, and I guess now Norse gods since the new God of War, like good portion of
Yeah,
them.
I mean, and I mean, there's a lot of like deity and stuff, and like between Greek and like Nordic and all this
Mm.
stuff. And, like,
Um,
they've got all these. It's pretty serious, but at the same time, it's like, well, could Dante have done it too?
yeah,
You know, I don't know.
I I think I
I'm.
think I would say
I
Dante,
don't.
maybe.
You know, I feel like I would say Kratos. Oh, okay. I would say Kratos, but the only reason I think I can just say Kratos before just saying like I can't tell based on their LL is because Nate has a resume,
Hmm.
just because of like how big a deal like these Greek and Nordic gods are,
Yeah,
and like I guess, but I mean that's not really like anything too credible, but I mean
I know
maybe
definitely in the speed department, Dante would have him because
right.
in a fight versus his brother Virgil, I think him and Virgil like just because they could like for some reason like it was raining and they both like sliced up like every single raindrop in like a big dome around them in like half a second. So I don't think Kratos
Just
could move quite that
ridiculous.
fast. um,
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, well,
if you
I
can't
don't
kill
know. I
Kratos,
honestly don't.
why does it matter
That's
if
what
you
I'm
can?
saying. Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's great, but like, what else you got? Literally, literally, that's the problem. Like, you get to the point where it's literally God tier to the point where it's
Mhm.
just broken. So it's like,
Yeah, like essentially, like the best way to determine who would win is I think scaling the demons from Devil May Cry and how strong the gods were from God of War.
mhm.
I don't think there has ever been a demon that was as big as like Poseidon or Kronos from God of War. And Kratos didn't really have much trouble at all taking them down. Um,
Mhm.
I don't. Maybe Kratos would have this.
I'm like, he's getting my vote, but
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, who knows?
It would definitely be a pretty fun fight to watch. I could easily.
It'd be,
I would really like to see a death battle in this.
it'd just be
I
like,
think that'd be fun to
I
see.
mean, death battle. But,
Yeah.
oh well. Who knows?
Maybe, who knows? Maybe something from DMC5 could just come out of nowhere and just be even more epic than anything from God of War. So,
I mean, could be, could be.
mm. Okay. So, is there anything else from this week you want to reiterate or just bring up?
No, I mean, Avengers 4, where are you?
Yeah,
But it's fine.
it's
Everything's
fine.
fine.
It's fine. No big deal.
No big deal. I'm not sweating. You're sweating.
We have other movies to deal with. Aquaman still coming out. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll admit, Aquaman, the trailers are looking pretty good. But
Better than I thought they would be. I'll give them that much.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's interesting because over Thanksgiving, my family was like, "Oh man, Aquaman's gonna be great." And I'm like,
Will it?
maybe. I was like, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're excited about it, but I mean, they were also really excited about Batman versus Superman, and then they were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that was unfortunate," and I was like,
Mm.
"Yeah." But I mean, who knows? Maybe Aquaman won't be like. I feel like it'll be kind of in the same ballpark as Venom was for me.
Okay. So if it's at
Like that's
least
what
as
I.
good as Venom, you'll be happy. Or like satisfied, I guess.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
would be. I think that'd be a win for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since it's been over a year since Justice League, and this is the first thing to take the bad taste out of our mouth from that. So,
Yeah, and like to make sure Aquaman's not just a meme from like Family Guy and stuff.
yeah.
So like,
I have a feeling even if the movie does do well, it'll still be a
yeah.
meme. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it will be. Aquaman's always gonna get like made fun of, but
Mhm.
probably if he does some awesome stuff, it'll be a little bit less.
Yeah. I mean, but if that isn't great, we still have Into the Spider Verse. We still have Bumblebee potentially.
So,
That could always be, surprisingly good. Once Upon a Deadpool. There's other movies that's similar to.
oh yeah.
I still haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph 2, so
Yeah. Have you seen Wreck-It Ralph 2
no,
yet?
haven't got around to it yet. Have you?
Me neither. They stopped talking about it, like
You're right.
advertising wise,
I haven't even seen
right?
a trailer where it's like #1 movie in America. Like I haven't even seen that. Huh. You're right.
I don't know. I always thought
Huh.
the Thanksgiving time. I always thought Thanksgiving release spots were like the worst because like I don't know, like
Hmm.
it doesn't seem like they get much advertising, and
Yeah.
also it just I don't know because like there were some good movies because I mean Creed 2 was supposed to be really good. I didn't really hear anything about that, and then what there was one
Robin
other
Hood
movie
was
that came
trash
out.
apparently.
Yeah, really?
Apparently it was trash.
Oh,
Like it's
that actually
like
looked.
spectacle wise, it's fine, but like as far as just the plot and just movie structure, it was really bad.
See, the trailer looks actually really
Yeah.
intriguing. Like I was actually like, okay, I could get behind this. But
Mhm.
I might want to check that movie out just for me to see how I
Yeah,
like. Because
yeah,
I
it's
feel
on
like
my
that could be a
watch
movie
list to
I like. That
eventually get around
yeah,
to. Yeah,
I might check that out. If there's nothing
yeah,
else at a time. There's nothing else going on.
yeah.
But
You're right.
we'll see.
Thanksgiving time when like also Black Friday is just around the corner, and like as soon as Thanksgiving
Right?
starts, Black Friday like commercials start blasting you. Cyber Monday commercials start blasting you, and like there's
Exactly.
not really enough room for movie trailers and like TV spots to really happen. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's not super surprising we haven't heard anything from it. Although not hearing from a Disney animated movie a week after it came out is a little. I don't know. I think we even heard stuff about Venom like the week after it came out. So the fact that we're not hearing about Wreck-It Ralph 2
Yeah.
is a little concerning, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, I don't think it could be that bad.
Yeah.
Like it has the potential to be
Hmm.
great. So like it could at least be good.
Even
And the
if it's
first one
kind of
was pretty
bad,
good.
it would be funny if not for just that princess smash up scene. So
Right? Like that looks really good.
mhm. Yep.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah, eventually. Okay. And with that, we will see you all next time.